Hi, everyone. My name is Diann Floyd Boehm. It looks like Boehm, but there's a story behind that, of course, but it's Boehm, B-O-E-H-M, and .com is where you can find me. And I'm a children's author. I'm also I run the Story Garden. So if any of you are interested in being a guest on my Story Garden and reading your book, and I also do young chapter books, please, in the chat put my website for you to contact me because I would love to have you. I'm also recently a co-host for the Dr. Jacqueline LLC show. So if you're interested in learning more about it and how possibly you can get your brand out there, I would love to share that with you. I've lived in many places in the world. My husband speaks many languages. I spent 14 years living in the Middle East. I went to Thailand, so when I mentioned Thailand, and I did a lot of work in Uganda, Ethiopia, and Kenya. And I think I left my spirits there. Those are just three incredible countries. But my books that I'm going to be sharing with you are about peace, love, kindness, love people, even if they're a little bit different. So I'll get started. I'm going to start with Harry the Camel, and Harry won an award. And because I did live in Dubai for 14 years and also was in Saudi Arabia, I wanted to give back to this beautiful country all the beautiful things I learned. And a camel is very important in their culture. Well, Harry does not like himself. He does not like his hump. He wishes he was a horse because they have a smooth, beautiful back. But something happens on his way back home. And because of something that happens, he discovers there's nothing better than being who you are. And that's the message I want children to discover. So that's Harry. Oh, and my friend, it was co-illustrated between myself and my friend from Sri Lanka. I'm a believer in having different illustrators to be part of the journey of my children's books and opening doors for people to have opportunities to share their talents. So wanted to make sure you know my friend from Sri Lanka, Yoshita, even though she has a Japanese name, but that's a story all by itself. And then I started the Little Girl in the Moon series. And so the little girl in the moon, she lives on the moon in Taiko town, and she's a moonling. And in this story, the way I wrote it, my background is teaching, is I did the illustrations a little bit different because I wanted all my children in Africa to see themselves as well. And it's real important to me that the young kiddos can see themselves in books. So my illustrations are all about, in this book, I decided to do it through the phases of the moon. And this book is about, even though we might look a little different, you might discover we like the same things. So like somebody, even if they look different, because they could be your very best friend. And that's what this story is about. And this is actually the first painting I ever did in my life. So when I'm in the schools, I really encourage children to embrace their imagination and to go for that paintbrush. This is the little girl in the moon, Moxie, and Taiko town, and the doggie. And moonling doggies are a lot smarter than the earthling doggies. They can take the commands faster. And so what happens here is it's more of a story about finding out what their town looks like. And I'm writing the moonling language. So you start learning moonling. And so the illustrations are really fun. And the illustrations are a combination of my youngest daughter, who teaches at SCAD University, virtual reality and stuff. So she helped me with this. And you get to travel all along Taiko town. And I'm hoping eventually it'll become a cartoon series. And again, the moonling dogs love everybody. This one is probably one of my favorites, the Little Girl in the Moon, The Big Idea. And in this book, it's about peace, hope, and love. And so what happens is the little girl on the moon, she's so worried. She tells her mommy, oh my gosh, I'm so worried. And the mommy's like, why? And so then the little girl says, all the wishes are getting lost. And so eventually they find out and discover something magical, and they write a poem that I hope one day will become a song. And the kind wishes find their way to the stars. And for a moment in time, there's peace and harmony and love in the world. And so that's something I wish that could happen. And then my new one is the Moonling Adventures, and my youngest daughter did all the illustrations for it. And we're going to have one after another of adventures. So the Moonlings, the little girl on the moon has morphed into the Moonling series. This one takes place in the Serengeti because it's phenomenal, the Serengeti. And because I have been blessed, I'm a little girl that came from a small town in Texas. And because I have been blessed to travel now, I want to bring these adventures to the people in the world and have them have an opportunity to see and the best they can and travel to. And so the Moonling Adventures, the Serengeti, is this particular one. And so those are my books. I have a one coming out in October called Rise, and it's my first historical book. And it's based on my grandmama's life. It took me 5 years of research, so I'm very excited about it. But again, it's a book that I want to inspire young readers, and it's really more high school and up. As a mama, I probably would say up, but my publisher says I'm an indie / it's one of those hybrid types publishers. But I wanted people to believe in themselves and follow the dreams. It might be difficult. You know, people just assume that, oh, I went to college, but I had to pay for my college. So it took me 10 years before I received my degree, but by goodness, I did it. And so I want people to know that just believe in yourself, figure out how we can get fire in the gut. And on the side, I try to help as many people I can to believe and go after their dreams.